Hello and welcome to the news at 4 with me, Sabina Izoku. Traffic controllers report just reaching notes from Abuja indicates that the National Association Air Traffic Controllers have embarked on industrial action that has grounded all domestic flights. This warning strike, according to the members of the workers' union, is a prelude to a total shutdown with effects from Monday, 28th of April. In Abuja, there was no outward domestic flights throughout the morning, but airport sources told CoreTV News that international flights were allowed to land and take off. Our correspondent, Basiaye, who led a crew to the Nnamdi Azikiwe airport, was denied access to the striking traffic controllers. Lagos State Commissioner of Police Kayode Aderonti has said the police have arrested Mary Akinloye, the 23-year-old nanny who kidnapped 3 children in Suleri area of Lagos State. The police public relation officer of the command, Kenneth Nwusu, said Akinloye was arrested by the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, while a manhunt is ongoing to apprehend other fleeing accomplices of the house help. Nwusu, Deputy Superintendent of Police, added she was nabbed by SARS in the Sasha area of Akowonjo, Lagos. She was arrested alone and is now in police custody. Efforts are on to arrest other fleeing accomplices, if any, and she is still making confessional statements. 2 persons have been killed while property worth millions of naira have been destroyed in a clash between Bororo Fulani traders and Yoruba natives of Oruago in Ifelodun local government area of Kwara State. Fulani traders were alleged to have flouted an already laid down rule on not to come with arms to the market and were disarmed. The weapons, which were said to have been kept in a safe place, was later allegedly retrieved by Sakin Fulani, who gave it back to his people. An attempt to retrieve the weapons from the Fulani, however, led to a breakdown of law and order as the 2 groups clashed, resulting in 4 people sustaining various degrees of wounds and injuries. One Sugo Babarinde, who repaired phones in the market, was allegedly later killed by some Fulani people. Kwara State Police spokesman who confirmed the incident says only 2 people died. He added that normalcy has returned to the area, while a combined team of security agents have been drafted to the town to prevent further outbreak. President Goodluck Jonathan plans to formally hand over his successor, Muhammadu Buhari, on May 29th. He has consequently mandated heads of ministries, departments, and agencies of government to make their handover notes available before the 20th of April. Minister of Information Patricia Akpashiki disclosed this to State House correspondent at the end of the Federal Executive meeting in Abuja. She added that already 2 committees headed by Vice President Namadi Sambo and Secretary to Government of the Federation, Ayim Pius Ayim, are already making arrangements for hitch-free transition.
Already in transition, so there is very little to report. What we discussed with the President and Council is he emphasized on the need for all MDGs and government parastatals and department agencies to submit their handing over notes to the office of the SGF by the 20th. That is next Monday. So we are going to be very busy this weekend putting our notes, handing over notes together. The President also emphasized that he would require another little briefing from all MDGs to indicate inherited projects, how far it has been executed, and initiated projects by his administration, and the level of completion, whether completed or ongoing or abandoned. So that was it at the Executive Council. We discussed other issues, but we are particularly paying attention to the transition, how we would make it effective. As you are all aware, we have a transitional committee already set up by the President, headed by the Vice President. Other than that, we also have an inaugural committee that is headed by the SGF. So everything we are doing towards achieving a smooth transition, getting all our notes together. By the 28th of this month, the President intends to have the formal handing over done at a dinner, so that we can reserve the 29th for the incoming. By the 28th, we expect to have concluded everything about governance, and we're welcoming the incoming government by the 29th. Also, you know that 29th is our Democracy Day, so we have activities lined up all through that week, showcasing what we have achieved and all other things we do normally on our Democracy Day, except that this year is special with the inauguration of our new president that is coming up on the 29th.
The Senate has meanwhile called a meeting of its Constitution Review Committee to deliberate on President Goodluck Jonathan's decision to reject the amendment. At least one senator also raised the point of order and insisted that issues raised by President Goodluck Jonathan needed be discussed at the plenary. Senate President David Mark agreed to the need to deliberate on it, but noted that all the senators need to go through the 7-page letter before taking a stand.
So many weighty issues have been raised by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in the letter you just read. And I think it is important for us to discuss that letter and see whether there is need for us to consider the letter or not. I think he has raised very serious fundamental issues, especially in terms of our functions as lawmakers and in terms of also his own position as the Chief Executive Officer of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The first reaction is for me to make copies available to everybody. And then they go and you study it. And if you notice, there is an announcement also by the Constitutional Review Committee that they are going to meet. So that will straight away go to them. I agree with you that weighty issues are being raised. It's a peculiar case, so everybody will be involved.
President Goodluck Jonathan has listed 12 reasons why he decided not to withhold assent to the recent constitution amendments made by the National Assembly. He offered his reason in separate letters sent to the two chambers and read by the leadership of the legislative houses. President Jonathan argued in the letter that the alteration of some sections of the Constitution was also not supported by 4/5 majority of the two chambers and not less than 2/3 of the State House of Assembly. Senate President David Mark and Speaker Aminu Tambuwa presented the President's position at a separate session.
I have accordingly examined the substance of the provisions and the procedure adopted by the National Assembly to pass the Act and wish to observe as follows. A. Section 4, alteration of Section 9. Section 4 of the 4th Alteration Act 2015 seeks to alter Section 9 of the 1999 Constitution by the insertion of a new Section 3A, which dispenses with the assent of the President in the process of constitutional amendment. However, this alteration can only be valid if the proposal was supported by the votes of not less than 4/5 majority of all the members of each House of the National Assembly and approved by a resolution of the Houses of Assembly of not less than 2/3 of all the states as provided by Section 9(3) of the 1999 Constitution. This is a fundamental requirement of the Constitution, and in the absence of credible evidence that this requirement was met in the votes and proceedings of the National Assembly, it would be unconstitutional for me to assent to this bill. In light of the above, I am of the respectful view that I should withhold assent until it can be shown that the National Assembly has complied with the threshold specified in Section 9(3) of the 1999 Constitution.
From that, the trial of Aminu Oguche, the alleged mastermind of the Yanyam bomb terminal bombings, and 5 others at the Federal High Court Abuja has been stalled due to the prosecution application seeking to modify order of secret trial of the suspects. The court had on the March 18th rejected a motion for prosecution witnesses to be hooded while giving testimony in court. But at the resumed trial, prosecution counsel Aminu Ogunshino informed the court of his application asking for for an order for the use of screen to shield witnesses from public view. Counsel to the accused, Ahmed Raji, objected to the application, describing it as a ploy by the prosecution to frustrate the trial. The trial judge, Justice Ahmed Mohammed, adjourned the matter till the 11th of May and 12th of May for hearing on the prosecution's application and commencement of trial.
The courts taking offenses relating to terrorism to speedily hear and determine the matter, we opted out of any bail application, and we all agreed that this matter should be dealt with speedily so that the accused persons would know their fate. They brought an application to say that they wanted to limit the number of people in the court. They wanted all sorts of indulgence, and the court ruled after arguments from both sides, or all the sides. Then this morning, they were just serving us an application to modify that order when they knew that the matter is coming up for hearing and that they are supposed to come with their witnesses. They filed the application on the 9th. They didn't serve on the 10th, that night. They didn't serve on the 12th or 11th or 13th or 14th. They waited till this morning. And when an application is filed and it is not ripe for hearing, the court cannot do anything. So we are left with no other impression than to infer that this was a ploy to delay or avoid the hearing of this case today.
Certificates of return by INEC Commissioner Ishmael Igbani has been awarded to elected members of the upper and the lower chambers of the National Assembly in Benin. There's more on this and other stories to come. Just stay with us.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Morimi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
Welcome back to the news. For more information, you can reach us on our social media platform, and that's on facebook.com/CoreTV News, and on our Twitter handle @CoreTV News NG. For news updates and other programs, you can stream us live on youtube.com/CoreTV Live Space and the news. Elected members of the upper and the lowest chambers of the National Assembly, March 28th general elections, have been presented with certificates of return by the INEC National Commissioner Ishmael Igbani at the Commissioner's headquarters in Benin. Reports of the certificate presentation is presented from our studio.
The winners, who were presented with certificates of return from two major parties in the state, thanked the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for a job well done. They also promised to fulfill the aspirations of the people who voted them into the National Assembly.
That today we are here in the joyous mood, and the mood of today has wiped the one of a few days ago. I want to say that what you have done is appreciated by me, my party, and the people of Edo South.
Edo State Resident Electoral Commissioner Mike Igini used the occasion to once again confirm that the real winners of the election are the ones being given certificates of return.
Whether you know anybody prior now, either you're reading about Mike Igini or in the papers and all that, it had nothing to do with the outcome of the election. The vote given are as expressed by the good people of Edo State.
The well-wishers of the newly elected members of the National Assembly also joined them at the Commission's headquarters, singing and dancing.
And in Kaduna State, the governor-elect Nasir El-Rufai has assured residents of the state of major development strides under his watch. He also promised to toe the path of President-elect Muhammadu Buhari in appointing cabinet members strictly on merit. The former FCT minister made the pledge shortly after receiving his certificate of return from the Independent National Electoral Commission, alongside other victorious politicians in the state. Amina Anebi has all the details in this report. This was the scene at the INEC Secretariat in Kaduna State when the governor-elect showed up to collect his certificates of return. All three senators-elect and their House of Representatives counterparts also turned up for the same reason. With smiles on their faces and jubilation among their supporters, El-Rufai and his deputy promised to deliver on their party's program.
Agreed plans for transition because we have to ensure that the machinery of government does not slow because of the impending change in party and leadership. So that's the first order of business. We'll announce our transition team within the next day or two, and our hope is that they will begin interface with the state government.
Among the victorious team at the INEC office is a fourth-time member House of Representative Garba Dati. He promised to impact positively on the lives of his constituents.
I would like to extend my gratitude, particularly to my constituents, for reposing confidence in me for the fourth time, 3 times in the National Assembly, once at the state level. So I want to assure them that the representation that I've been representing them since 2003, and I'll continue on that path. Especially now that we have government at both center and at the state level.
Suleiman Hunkui, who defeated incumbent senator and former Kaduna State Governor Ahmed Makafi, also collected the certificate of return alongside others.
In the last 16 years has been known to be theater of sleepy and boring people. It has also been known to be a solace for choristers, ex-governors, and political pensioners. This time around is going to be different because we come from a constituency, the constituency of activism. I'm going there to represent the interests of my people and to ensure that Senate perform its function as an independent organ of government, establish and institutionalize to perform oversight functions. We are not going to be a congregation of sycophants and yes-men. We are going there to scrutinize each and every policy of government and to also ensure that every bill that is about to be passed is passed on its own merit.
At least we have now set a new stage for a new Nigeria. We want to do our best to ensure that Nigeria once again has been rebuilt in such a manner that everybody will feel happy that he's elected.
Aside from taking over the Kaduna State Government House, the All Progressive Congress provided 2 out of the 3 senators-elect and virtually all members-elect in the House of Representatives. The Independent National Electoral Commission in Ekiti State has presented certificates of return to duly elected senators and House of Representatives. INEC, however, lamented the high cost of electioneering period while calling for sanitization of the system. The newly elected PDP lawmakers, on their part, highlighted the challenges of being in the opposition party but vowed to surmount the problems.
After the March 28th election, Ekiti State has no doubt gone through its fair share of political metamorphosis, but as the governor continues to celebrate his victory at the Supreme Court, the newly elected PDP National Assembly members have received their certificates of return. INEC at the presentation, the National Commissioner for Ekiti and Ogun, Lai Olurode, laments the high cost of electioneering process, which in turn makes the elected officials not to be accountable.
We cannot sit through elections without the support of deployment of large security agents to the field. It shouldn't be like that. We have witnessed monitored elections in Ghana, we have been to Kenya, we have been to smaller African countries. You can hardly notice the presence of security agents. The cost of doing election in this country is quite huge compared to what the cost is in other African countries. You know how much you have spent. It shouldn't be. In America, America is one of the richest, if not the richest country in the world. America does not spend as much as an average legislator spends in the course of electioneering in this country. And you have to recoup back this money. Where are you going to get it back? It has to be from the public purse. So therefore, the less the money that is spent on electioneering, the better for the country.
Although clearing all seats at the National Assembly in the state, the PDP will be minority members in the Senate, being for the first time to be in the opposition. They, however, reeled out their plans.
The beauty of democracy is that you must network and you must be able to put your better foot forward. And that's what we're going to do. Because in the Senate, the ruling party does not also command the two-thirds majority in both chambers. So they will need us to pass any major bill that is coming. Don't forget that in that Senate is the Senate President, who has been Senate President for 4 terms, and also the Deputy Senate President. That is major experience, and such people can network easily. I know with their leadership and with the fact that most of us are not new members to the legislature, we will do exceedingly well.
With the elections over and winners having emerged, the stage is now set for another political dispensation. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
As Nigerian Constitution countdown to the May 29th handing over date, asset declaration, position sharing have taken front burner position, especially with the massive defection of the politicians from the PDP to the APC ahead of the commencement of the Buhari administration. On his part, the Senate President Hofu Bukola Saraki affirms his support on Buhari's stand on asset declaration and other sundry issues, insisting the APC will make a difference. Our correspondent Rashid, who is in Ilorin, reports.
At the electioneering process, APC stalwarts like Bukola Saraki made their mark, and it's time to form the new government. The senator-elect shares his opinion on asset declaration by public servants.
You don't think it's a declaration of assets that will make you less corrupt or more accountable. I think one, it is your own individual commitment that your parties, the leadership provided. Leadership is very important. And those of us who have had the opportunity to be chief executives, the leader at the top is very, very important. More important than all these papers or forms you fill. If the leader leads by example, holds people accountable, shows where you should sanction, people will do the right thing. And I think also with the one election that has come in 2015, people more so now than ever. That's why I said I think Nigeria has changed for good. People will do the right thing.
An early defector from the PDP to APC was quick to put his feet on the ground as regards the current gale of defection that rocks the PDP following APC's victory at the presidential poll.
I will admit that in the past, I used to be one of those that believed in the issue of one term. But I think, as I said, what has happened here on the 28th of March, one of the concerns why a lot of us used to believe in one term was that we did not have faith in the democratic process or the electoral process in being able to bring about change. That is, that can the people truly vote somebody out of office? But what we have seen based on this last election, what INEC has done as an institution and also led as a chairman, it has given confidence that it is possible for you, if you do not perform, when it's time for election, people will vote you out.
With the APC making majority at the Senate for the first time, Nigerians are keenly watching how transparent the chamber will be, especially in the adjustment of National Assembly members' jumbo pay. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ilorin.
And that's it on the news. Do join us at the top of the hour for Global News. I am Sabina Isoki, and thank you very much indeed for watching.